Good afternoon, YouTube. Working on the bigger project so far. Rex is going to help me out a little bit. So the outfeed table will be replaced, and I'm just working on design right now. It will sit in this area and function as an outfeed table. It will function as a crosscut table for panels that really I can't do on that or on the miter saw over there. And it's also going to function for squaring up large 4x8 sheets or something like that. I have a potential opportunity to get some shop grade birch ply at a reasonable price up here in Canada, about 50 bucks a sheet. The issue is that sometimes it comes with non-square edges and some other things like that. So I need it to function for a number of different things. So I'm working through the design. It took me almost half a day to work things out, mainly because it is going to be inspired by Ron Paulk, and it's going to be inspired by a MFT Festool kind of thing, using the UJK system made by... Sorry, I had to stop there for a second. Rex was getting into trouble. It's the UJK Parf Guide system by Peter Parfit. So it's going to have those three components all worked into each other using both standard and metric systems. Also with a benchdogs.co.uk cutting fence system, dogs, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's going to be a fairly complex build for me, and contrary to my usual tendencies, I'm not just going to start taking sheets of whatever and cutting, because I had to figure that out. So the first thing I did was I had to figure out how I'm going to fit the bench dogs so that they fall in between stringers. And since all of my shop tools, like my table saw and other stuff, is generally calibrated in standard, I had to figure all that out. So, and I know that I want 48 inches that way, 60 inches that way, with an ability to put tools underneath this way, and then put rails for the rail saws to go in that way. So I had to think of a lot of different things. I came up with this basic drawing. So I have a front face, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stringers. Stringers are 46.5 inches. The front and back are 60 inches. It's all out of 3/4 ply. The spacing I got was 15 1/8 of an inch on center. Now I had to do some calculations with that, and that works out to where 1, 2, well, let's Lewis, because I had to work this out on my table. So if I worked out from here, actually this is 3/4, and this is another stringer, I could fit 1, 2, 3, 4 of the parf holes before I ran into hitting one of these. So I could work that all out. So that will work good. Then I had to work on the sides. So I came up with this, where we have a total, a 9-inch tall side, 2 inches, 2 inches, and this will be solid with 2 12-inch cuts. That will be sitting on this end, so the tracks will go through those and sit underneath the bench. That will give me a good 20-ish inches this way to put things like my biscuit joiner or drills or that type of thing. The front I had to work out, keeping that 15 1/8 inch distance. And I have 2 inches with a 12.5 inch hole, 12.75 inch hole, 12.75 inch hole, and 12-inch hole. So this is going to be pretty funky. This is going to be a one-off. I think for the sides, since I need 5 of them, I'm going to make a template out of one and then use a pattern router bit to finish it all up. Or I'll make a pattern which is slightly larger and then use a bushing and a 1/2 inch router bit, or I have a 1/4 inch router bit, kind of using the Ron Polk idea. So tons of YouTube watching on all this. On top of that, the top is going to be separate from the cabinet underneath. Because I like to clamp stuff onto the bench from the edge, I am going to make the cabinet just a little bit smaller than the top. So the cabinet is going to be, the top is going to be 48 inches by 60 inches, but the cabinet is going to be, how to look at my sheet here, cabinet is going to be 48 inches wide and 36 inches deep. And that'll give me a little bit of an overhang at the back and the front. Now my total height, the top is going to be 12.5. The feet I have are about 2.75 inches tall. And I have a maximum height of 34 inches. That's the height of my table saw. Now the max cabinet size I can do is 20.75 inches. But if I use a 19-inch cabinet wall height and add in the 2 sheets of plywood, one on the top, one on the bottom, I get about 20.5 inches. So that's a bit of a cut list. I'm going to have to work all those out and figure out how I'm going to fit them all on sheets of plywood. I'm learning SketchUp. I haven't figured it out enough to do this. For me, it's much easier to get a ruler and start drawing things out on sheets of paper. And what I did find is I have this. It's called a Little Imp, and it's a graphics ruler, and it has a whole whack load of different scales. We have inches, metric, points, agates, decimals, and I use Macpica because this allowed me to fit my 48 by 60 inch on a sheet of paper, and it gave me 1 or half, 1, 1.5, 2. So it had all gradations, so I could nail it down and use this as a reference for inches. Worked out good. If you can find one of these things and you're not as computer savvy, or you're sort of more used to just standard type of drafting, this kind of works out good. Honestly, it took me less time to do this than it did to learn SketchUp. I'm going to keep working on that, but for this project, I'm going to stick with what I know and how I do it. So the other thing is I'm hoping to improve the quality of my videos, mainly because we should be getting high-speed internet tomorrow. So we're going to go from about 5 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second, which means that I can use better video, better audio, upload, and better quality, and start using my digital video camera, because it won't take a day to 2 days to upload a video. It'll take maybe a couple minutes to half an hour. So I can edit everything on the computer and do everything nicely. I'm going to look at maybe picking up a microphone, some other fun stuff. We'll see how this goes. If I can get to a few more subscribers and a little bit more traction, I'm going to try and make much better videos. Anyways, this is my design process for this whole thing. This is going to be a few build videos. I'm not going to try and do it all in one whack. And bit by bit, we're going to build it up and make it nice.